Everyone thinks strength looks the same. Keep going. Finish the fight. Take what sips in front of you. That sips what the crowd wanted that night. That sips what the rules allowed. But standing in that ring, Muhammad Ali saw something no one else did. Not an opponent losing a fight. A man losing himself. And in a moment where no one would have blamed him for throwing the next punch, Ali chose something harder than victory. He chose humanity. The bell had not rescued anyone yet. No referee had stepped between them. No doctor had waved it off. The canvas was still theirs, and the moment still belonged to him. By every measure that matters in a fight, the victory was still fully within reach. The crowd felt it in their bodies before their minds. They leaned forward, sensing the end coming. They had seen this pattern before, and it always finished the same way. Pressure builds, resistance fades, and the final blow arrives. This was the chapter they paid to witness. Nothing about the moment suggested restraint. Muhammad Ali stood composed, breathing steady, eyes clear. He wasn't set scrambling or surviving. He wasn't set chasing momentum or luck. He had command of distance, rhythm, and timing. This wasn't the set desperation winning fights. This was mastery waiting to conclude. Every signal pointed toward completion. The opponent Fit's guard was slower to rise. Footwork dragged where it once danced. Openings appeared and stayed open longer. In boxing, those are invitations you accept. They are lessons taught early and rewarded often. From the outside, it looked simple. Do what champions do and finish clean. Cap the night with a statement and move on. History favors those who close the door decisively. The cameras were ready for the exclamation point. Nothing demanded hesitation. Yet control has a different texture than hunger. Control feels quiet, not rushed. It doesn't need to chase what sips already decided. It waits, measures, and chooses. Ali felt that texture in his hands and feet. He knew the difference between winning and proving. The ring itself seemed to pause with him. Sweat glistened under lights that never blink. The crowd's roar blurred into a single pressure-filled hum. Inside that noise, Ali Sip's focus sharpened. He wasn't reacting to the moment. He was evaluating it. He had earned the right to finish. No rule forbade it. No voice of authority warned against it. Every tradition of the sport encouraged it. The ledger of advantage was squarely his. This was the cleanest kind of permission. What makes such moments dangerous is certainty. Certainty invites instinct to take the wheel. Instinct accelerates where judgment might slow. In winning positions, instinct is celebrated. But instinct can overshoot the point of purpose. Ali sensed that edge. He noticed how easily he could press, how small the adjustments needed to be, how little risk remained if he chose force. That ease carried weight of its own. Ease asks a different question than struggle. It asks whether the outcome still needs you. Champions are trained to ignore doubt. They are trained to finish what Sips started. They are trained to hear applause before it arrives. Ali had mastered those lessons long ago. Mastery gave him a second layer of choice. Choice that exists only when you stare ahead. The scoreboard, real or imagined, favored him. Time favored him. Momentum favored him. The crowd favored him. Everything external said go. Nothing external said stop. Inside, however, Ali felt a shift. Not fear, not uncertainty, not fatigue, a recognition that the contest had changed shape. When shape changes, purpose must be reassessed. Finishing a race is different from finishing a person. Ali knew which one he was approaching. He understood that wins can be hollowed by excess. That taking more than required stains the moment. That strength can overreach into something else. The sport doesn't always ask you to notice this. Experience teaches you to notice anyway. Ali had that experience. There is a narrow space where dominance peaks. Past that peak, the proof is already made. Continuing beyond it adds risk without meaning. Meaning mattered to Ali as much as results. He wasn't interested in empty margins. He valued clean conclusions. The moment remained his to claim. Nothing had been taken from him. Nothing had been wrested away by chance. He could have closed the book immediately. The ink was ready, the page open. The choice was entirely his. In that clarity, time stretched. Seconds felt longer than rounds. The ring felt smaller, more intimate. This was no longer a public spectacle alone. It was a private decision under public lights. Those are the hardest to make. Ali had been here before in different forms. Moments where power tempted excess. Moments where applause tempted speed. Moments where instinct tempted certainty. Each time, the real test wasn't set stability. It was judgment. Judgment asks questions that punches cannot answer. What does this add? What does this take? What will remain after the noise fades? Ali asked those questions quickly and clearly. He didn't need long to hear the answers. The fight was still his to win. That truth never changed. What changed was the meaning of winning. Winning could be an ending or a statement. Ali weighed both without panic. And he chose to redefine the moment. That choice did not come from weakness. It came from possession of the moment itself. Only someone truly in control can pause like that. Only someone winning can afford to reconsider. The fight was still his to win. And that is precisely why the next decision mattered. The crowd watched the obvious. They tracked punches, angles, momentum. They measured dominance by movement and damage. What they missed lived between those markers. Muhammad Ali was watching the space behind the eyes, where a fighter sips will either steadies or slips. Muhammad Ali had learned to read what doesn't show on highlight reels: breathing that loses rhythm, feet that hesitate before committing, hands that rise a fraction slower than before. These are not signs of losing a fight. They are signs of losing oneself inside it. Ali noticed the shoulders first. Not their position, but their weight. They no longer carried readiness. They carried burden. That weight changes how a person moves. Ali felt it across inches of space. He listened for breath amid the noise. Uneven, rushed, pulled high into the chest, instead of settling deep. A fighter can be hurt and still breathe steady. This breathing told a different story. Eyes reveal timing before fists do. Ali saw the eyes stop hunting for answers. They stopped scanning for openings. They lingered, then drifted. Drift is dangerous. Drift means the mind has begun to retreat. The crowd read posture as fatigue. Ali read it as distress. Fatigue sharpens decisions when courage is intact. Distress erodes them when courage is overwhelmed. The difference is subtle. Ali knew the difference because he had lived it. He watched how the opponent responded to feints. Not the reaction itself, but the delay. A half beat longer to decide. A pause where certainty used to be. Those half beats add up quickly. They signal a breaking threshold. Pain tightens focus for fighters who remain present. Fear scatters it. Ali saw scattering. Not panic, but dispersal. The kind that makes each second heavier than the last. The kind that turns a ring into a trap. Referees look for damage. They can justify stopping. Crowds look for drama. They can celebrate. Ali looked for the line where continuation stops serving purpose. That line isn't set marked by blood. It's sets marked by loss of agency. Ali saw agency slipping. He noticed how the opponent leaned away from exchanges. Not tactically, but protectively. Protection replaces engagement when limits are reached. At that point, continuing tests endurance, not skill. Ali had no interest in testing endurance that way. The contest he came for was already decided. The arena sips roar flatten nuance. Every cheer pushed toward escalation. Ali filtered it out. Experience teaches you to separate signal from noise. He trusted the signal in front of him. It was quieter, but clearer. He remembered moments from his own career, times when the ring felt smaller than it should, when lights pressed down instead of shining, when courage had to be summoned deliberately. Those memories sharpened his empathy. Empathy sharpened his judgment. Ali saw how the opponent's balance changed after exchanges. Not stumbling, just cautious. Caution is wise early. Late, it can signal survival mode. Survival mode has no upside for competition, only risk. There is a point where winning becomes redundant. Ali recognized it instinctively. Redundancy tempts excess because it feels free. Free moments are where character is revealed. Ali paid attention to character when it mattered. That attention changed the night. He also noticed the opponent sit's silence. Not the absence of trash talk, but the absence of response. No words to self. No rallying breath. Silence can be composure or surrender. Ali could tell which this was. The crowd sip's distance flattened perspective. Ali sit's proximity sharpened it. He felt the air shift between bodies. He sensed hesitation before it became visible. That sensitivity comes from mastery, not mercy. Mastery earns the right to choose. Ali knew another exchange would land clean. He knew the openings would widen. He knew the math favored him. Knowing that made the next step heavier, not lighter. When certainty removes risk, responsibility increases. Ali accepted that responsibility. He saw the future of the moment clearly. Escalation would add damage without adding meaning. The narrative would be simple, loud, forgettable. Stopping would be quiet, confusing, enduring. Ali chose the path with meaning. Meaning outlasts noise. What the crowd couldn't see was intention draining away. Not effort, not pride, but intention. A fighter without intention is exposed to harm. Ali refused to harvest that exposure. Harvesting vulnerability is easy. Protecting it is harder. He trusted his read without polling the room. He didn't seek confirmation. He didn't wait for permission. Grounded people don't outsource judgment. Ali Set's grounding had been forged over years. It held firm in seconds. This wasn't Set hesitation. It was recognition. Recognition that the contest had crossed its natural endpoint. Recognition that dignity was now the scarce resource. Ali saw scarcity and acted to preserve it. That is intelligence under pressure. The crowd saw a fight. Ali saw a human threshold. Thresholds demand care, not conquest. Once crossed, they can be uncrossed. Ali chose not to cross it. That choice reframed everything that followed. What Ali noticed was invisible to most. But invisibility doesn't mean insignificance. In that ring, perception was the real advantage. He had it, he used it, and because of that, the moment became something more than a win. The decision didn't arrive as a debate. There was no internal panic, no doubt about ability, no calculation of odds. The ring was quiet inside Ali Sep's mind. That quiet is where clarity lives. Muhammad Ali didn't confuse awareness with hesitation. Hesitation asks for reassurance. Awareness already knows. He felt certainty without urgency. When certainty arrives like that, it isn't fear speaking, it sets judgment. Fear narrows vision. Judgment widens it. Ali Set's vision widened in that moment. He saw the next exchange clearly. He also saw the exchange after that, and the cost that would follow both. He knew he could continue safely for himself. That wasn't the question. The question was what continuing would take from the other man. There are things a punch can measure. There are losses a bell can repair. Ali recognized those losses before they happened. This wasn't about protecting an image. Images crave applause. This was about protecting a boundary. Boundaries are quiet. They don't announce themselves. They are honored or violated in private. Ali didn't look for an excuse to stop. He didn't wait for a signal that would absolve him. He didn't lean on rules to decide for him. When rules go silent, responsibility gets louder. He accepted that responsibility without drama. That acceptance is strength. The temptation to finish was real. So was the permission. Permission is a powerful sedative. It tells you everything is allowed. Ali treated permission carefully. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. He understood that fear pushes people to end moments quickly. This moment stretched calmly. There was time to choose. Time to consider meaning. Time to honor limits. Fear rushes. Judgment waits. Ali Set's breathing stayed steady. Steady breath steadies thought. Steady thought steadies action. There was no tremor in his stance. No rush in his feet. Nothing in his body suggested retreat. The body often reveals fear before the mind does. Ali Set's body revealed control. Control signals choice. Choice signals confidence. Confidence doesn't need to prove itself. It needs to be exercised wisely. He knew how the crowd would read it. Confusion first, then impatience, maybe disappointment. Ali didn't negotiate with those outcomes. Outcomes belong to observers. Decisions belong to the person acting. This was not mercy born of pity. Pity looks down. Ali looked level. He saw an equal at a limit. Limits deserve respect. Respect isn't weakness. It's restraint with dignity. He also understood how moments echo. Violence echoes loudly and briefly. Judgment echoes quietly and long. Ali had lived long enough to value the second echo. The long echo shapes legacy. The loud one fades with the noise. The simplest choices are often the hardest: finish or stop, push or pause, take or spare. Ali chose the option that required self-command. Self-command costs more in the moment. It pays more over time. He didn't set need to consult his corner. He didn't set need a glance from the referee. He trusted the read he had earned. Trusting yourself is not arrogance. It's the result of preparation meeting experience. Ali had both. Fear asks, what if I lose? Judgment asks, what if I take too much? Ali answered the second question. The first didn't set apply. He wasn't set protecting a lead. He was protecting a person. Stopping meant owning the narrative later, explaining the pause, absorbing the misreadings. Ali accepted that cost up front. Costs paid up front don't sit linger. Deferred costs do. He knew restraint would be misunderstood. Misunderstanding is a tax on integrity. Pay it once and move on. Avoid it and pay interest later. Ali paid once, cleanly. That sets how you keep accounts honest. The decision was complete before it showed. No half steps. No wavering signals. Completion gives decisions weight. Weight steadies action. Action becomes unmistakable. When he slowed, it wasn't instant confusion. It was conclusion. He had concluded that the fight had crossed its natural end. Natural ends matter. They preserve meaning. They prevent excess from erasing purpose. He didn't refuse to continue because he couldn't set. He refused because he could and chose not to. Choice defines agency. Agency defines strength. Strength, in that moment, meant stopping, and stopping meant standing by a value. The ring remained loud outside. Inside, the decision had already landed. Once landed, it didn't wobble. That steadiness told the truth of the moment. This had nothing to do with fear. It had everything to do with responsibility. Real strength is often misunderstood because it doesn't always look dramatic. People expect it to explode, to dominate, to overwhelm. They confuse force with authority. But what happened in that ring challenged that belief completely. Muhammad Ali showed that strength is not the absence of restraint. It is the presence of control. Anyone can escalate when emotions run high. Anyone can finish when the outcome is guaranteed. But only someone truly secure in their power can choose to stop without losing it. Aggression is easy when you steer ahead. It feels justified. It sets applauded. Restraint, however, feels risky. It invites misunderstanding. It opens you to judgment from people who only value results. Ali accepted that risk. Strength that needs applause is fragile. It needs validation to survive. Alicep's strength didn't ask for approval. It didn't need permission from the crowd. It stood on its own, quiet and complete. Stopping didn't weaken Alicep's authority. It clarified it. It told everyone watching that he wasn't ruled by impulse, that he wasn't intoxicated by dominance, that his confidence wasn't dependent on humiliation. That kind of authority is rare. There is also strength in protecting dignity. Dignity doesn't belong only to winners. It belongs to everyone in the ring. Ali understood that once dignity is taken, no victory feels clean. Preserving it takes awareness and courage. Many fighters talk about respect. Few are willing to act on it when it costs them spectacle. Ali acted on it when the spotlight was brightest, when expectations were loudest, when restraint would confuse people. That is when values are most visible. This moment also exposed the difference between ego and confidence. Ego wants to extract everything it can. Confidence knows when enough has been proven. Ali didn't need to drain the moment dry. He had already established who he was. Continuing would not have added truth. Strength without judgment becomes cruelty. Judgment without strength becomes hesitation. Ali balanced both perfectly. He didn't hesitate. He decided decisions made from balance carry moral weight. Stopping required Ali to own the aftermath. The questions, the debates, the second guessing. That ownership is part of real strength too. It's easier to do what's expected than what's right. Ali chose what he could stand behind later. This wasn't softness. Softness avoids conflict entirely. Ali faced it head-on and chose restraint anyway. That choice demanded self-mastery. Self-mastery is harder than physical dominance. It requires awareness under pressure. He also demonstrated that leadership isn't about taking advantage of vulnerability. It's about recognizing it and responding responsibly. In that ring, Ali was the leader. Leaders set the tone. The tone he set was dignity over destruction. That tone echoed far beyond the fight. Real strength leaves something intact. It doesn't take more than is necessary. It doesn't confuse capability with entitlement. Ali could have taken more. That's precisely why stopping mattered. It proved he wasn't set owned by what he could do. This moment reshaped how people remembered him. Not just as a champion, but as a man with judgment. As someone who understood that power tests character more than weakness ever does. Weakness asks for help. Power asks for restraint. What Ali showed that night was that the strongest people are not those who go the farthest, but those who know exactly where to stop. Stopping at the right moment requires clarity. Most people never develop. Ali had that clarity. That clarity is why this moment still resonates. Not because it was loud, not because it was dramatic, but because it was rare. It showed a version of strength that doesn't need to announce itself. In the end, Ali didn't just pause a fight. He elevated the meaning of strength itself. He reminded the world that real power is not proven by how much you can take, but by how much you are willing to spare. When no one would blame you for taking more, when the moment passed, the arena didn't fully understand what had happened. There was no dramatic ending to replay. No final punch to freeze in slow motion. What lingered instead was a feeling, a quiet discomfort mixed with respect. Because something deeper than sport had been revealed. Muhammad Ali didn't leave the ring remembered for what he took. He was remembered for what he refused to take. That refusal is why the story survives. People forget outcomes. They forget rounds and records. But they remember moments where a human choice interrupts expectation. The reason stays with you because it exposes a truth most people avoid. Power tests character more than weakness ever does. When you start losing, limits protect you. When you stare winning, limits are optional. Ali had the freedom to cross the line. He chose not to. And that choice echoes. What stays with you is the question it forces. What would you do if no one stopped you? If the rules allowed it, if the crowd encouraged it, if walking away gained you nothing tangible? Ali answered that question without words. He showed that restraint isn't set hesitation. It sets resolution. It sets deciding that some victories cost too much. That dignity matters even when it sets not demanded. That legacy isn't set built by excess, but by alignment between action and values. This moment stays because it feels personal. You don't need to be a fighter to recognize it. Everyone faces moments where they could push further, take more, win harder, even when it would diminish someone else. Ali's choice shines a light on those moments. The reason also stays because it sits rare. We live in a culture that rewards escalation. More pressure, more dominance, more proof. Ali offered a counterexample that still feels radical. That stopping can be an act of strength, not surrender. He didn't explain himself that night. He didn't justify the pause. He let the moment speak. And that silence is part of why it endures. Silence invites reflection. Reflection makes a moment follow you home. Long after the crowd dispersed, long after the noise settled, the image remained. A man who had every reason to continue, and every excuse to finish, choosing restraint. Because it was right, not because it was required. That's why the reason stays with you. Not because it was sentimental, not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. It revealed who Ali was when no one forced him to be anything else. In refusing to continue, he didn't weaken the meaning of victory, he deepened it. And that depth is why this moment refuses to fade. Because it asks each person watching what kind of strength they want to carry forward when the moment to choose finally arrives.